Well, there are rivalry games and then there are rivalry games. And when it comes to Sherman and Denison, no matter the sport, it's the game you circle on the schedule, and tonight we had two of them. The Sherman Bearcats with the home court against the Denison Yellow Jackets in a key district basketball game. Denison gets it going early. Shannon Love setting the table, hands off to Darion Vaughn, who buries the three to start the game. More Denison. King Collins fires into Vaughn for the backdoor layup. Jackets in command early. Here comes Sherman, though. Bryson Taylor kicks it out of the post to Jeremiah Babcock. He finishes with the Bearcat bucket. Then great ball movement by the Bearcats. Julian Delgado to Taylor, who feeds Babcock on the block. Sherman climbing back in. But Denison would separate themselves. Mila Morum gets to the baseline and knocks down the jumper for the Jackets. Then off a Bearcat turnover, it's King Collins getting the steal, and he is off and running. Denison wins this one 57-47 over rival Sherman.